Hey, how's it going? My name is Liz Gabdis, and I get to do this flash training today from Libraries for Digital Equity. Let me give you a little bit of background information about what we're doing, why we're calling this a flash training, why it says it's a mini training and not a full training. So what we're looking at is this is a full workshop available from Libraries for Digital Equity or a full webinar from Libraries for Digital Equity. The title is How to Be Fearless in Conversations About Broadband. And the idea is that libraries are super critical community anchor institutions, but that means that we need to have a role, our libraries need to have a role in discussions about community infrastructure, about broadband access, about digital equity and issues with the digital divide around skills gaps or around access to devices. I mean, there's a lot of these conversations that get very technical very quickly, and that has a high intimidation factor. That can be really tough for libraries. I mean, librarians, we're trained to help people find information, not to be necessarily the expert on every topic. And so when you go into this conversation talking about broadband, talking about a new technology, especially if you're talking with, say, an IT professional, it can be really intimidating, really hard knowing, feeling like, oh, I don't have the vocabulary or I don't have the experience. I've never actually played with this tech before. So that's what this full training is trying to answer. It's helping librarians build confidence and a sense of ownership and a sense of belonging in these conversations, so that we can be part of the solution that our communities need, and part of the solutions that people all across the nation are designing right now. So today I am excited because I get to give you a little piece of this training for free. This video will stay up, this recording will stay up, and you can come back to it anytime. So we're going to give you just a few of these. We're calling them tools for fearlessness. These are just a few things in this, we're calling it our Tech Fearless Toolbox. It's packed with um, all sorts of strategies and conversation help tools. You'll see those in a minute. All kinds of tools to help you be a little more fearless in these conversations that have that high tech factor or high intimidation factor. So today we are just going to talk about 4 of these tools. I would love to go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about our first tool here, which is pliers. So this first tool is Googling things. And I know Google search results are iffy these days, so we can also say using DuckDuckGo. That's my preference. Or, there's a lot of other search engines out there. The idea is you don't have to go into a conversation blind. You don't have to go in completely unaware um, of the context. You can Google these. Okay, so I see this pliers because it's a tool for taking things apart. You can see the inside. You can get into the workings of something. You can see how it works, see the little pieces and gears, and go, oh, okay, so this connects to that, which is why that moves like this. And then suddenly you're at this higher level of preparation and higher level of participation in conversations. So I know that just saying, well, Google it isn't a very helpful tip. So let's get into what I mean specifically. Use this as a tool in meetings. Pull up a video, a window of your browser in front of your webcam. No one has to know that you're Googling something while you're sitting there. And then just, stay up on what's going on in the conversation. Use it in meetings on your phone if you need to. If you're totally overwhelmed by what's going on, just pick one specific thing from the conversation and Google it. One word you hear, one piece. Okay, I'm going to go into what are these tools, the specific things that you should be Googling that you can use this tool to understand a little bit better. Acronyms. There are way too many. Everybody thinks that theirs are important enough that everyone should know it, including people outside their field. No one's are important enough that everyone should know it. So when people start using all kinds of acronyms that you've never heard before, just Google it. Don't even think for a second, oh, I should know this. Just Google it. Uh, Technologies, even if this is a technology, you hear someone mention a technology and you go, oh, I understand that, I know how that works. Just give it a quick Google, read the first 2 or 3 paragraphs on Wikipedia, or read a quick review on PC World, and And it'll help you, it'll deepen your understanding. It'll help you understand, it'll point you towards trends, towards developments. It helps you get a sense of, what's going on with the technology, what's worth knowing. Now, I will say, do not Google technologies during your meetings, unless it's just the very, briefest, oh, what is that again? This is way too easy to get into a rabbit hole. So these ones where you do a little more of a deep dive on Google around technologies, save that for after your meetings. One more trick, especially if you're going into a meeting with a high intimidation factor. So like, say your city manager says, hey, library director, I want you to meet with this guy that I met. And he sends you an email and it says, IT director Adobe. And you're like, who, what? Why am I supposed to meet with this person? Google the person, Google their name. You will find, find at the very least their job title, find probably company blog posts or maybe LinkedIn posts. Just try to get a vague general idea of what they might be looking for. That can really help you feel more prepared going into these meetings. So that is Google, your tool for, kind of taking things apart, getting the top off, getting in it and seeing, oh, okay, this is how it's working. So our next tool is also for understanding. We are using a drill. So the drill is for getting right at the core of the problem, cutting into whatever confusion is around it, whatever issues are around it, and saying, okay, this is where I need a better understanding of what's going on. Getting right at the source of the confusion. So again, I know this is going to sound a little bit too easy. We'll ask questions. Again, not very helpful advice. Let me give you some specific questions that you can ask that can actually be helpful. Okay, ask questions about context clues. Ask one example of this, a question for a context clue could be saying, this is really cool what you're telling me about, but I don't understand how it could fit in my library. So you're asking for context on what they're envisioning. Or you could say, this is an interesting, legal case you're talking about, but I don't quite see how it applies to hotspots or, whatever it is. Just ask for that context. Asking questions can also it can help the person that you're speaking with give you a new explanation. They might approach describing this project, or they might approach describing the technology a little bit differently, and seeing them come at it from a different angle or seeing them explain it a little bit differently can really help unlock whatever it is in your brain that's making it go, okay, this is bumping up against a wall, I don't understand. Coming at it from a different direction can make that light bulb suddenly turn on. So asking questions can really help with seeing a different approach to whatever that source of confusion is. I think what's important with questions is that, especially when you're talking with a salesperson, like say a vendor of a technology or a company, an account rep from, say, the company that manages your hotspots, they are going to be focused on the devices themselves. They're going to be focused on probably big shiny things like big programs you can do, press releases. They're not going to be focused on your patron. So when you are armed with some good questions, you can help refocus the conversation on the patron by asking things like, is this going to make, say they're talking about new self-checkout kiosks. So you can say, is this going to make it faster for my patrons to check out books or slower? Give me a specific answer. You can say, are my patrons more likely to have issues with their library cards, with their account, and have to talk to a staff member anyway, or less likely? Or you can say, the first time we installed self-checkout machines, our patrons were really resistant. What are you doing to make these machines seem approachable and accessible? So if these questions they don't feel like something that you're going to come up with in the moment, we actually have a really great cheat sheet on our website, and it's available for free. You can download it anytime. So that site, you're going to libraries4de.org/resources. And on that page, the resources page, you will see a link. It's called Strategic Questions. It's a PDF download, and it is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet. It's jam packed with exactly these questions, things like this, things to protect your budget, and things to clarify how much work a project is going to be for your staff. Just use these tools to make sure that you're staying on top of what is happening in these conversations. So download that. It's a great tool. Okay, I think we should probably get into our next slide. That's questions. That's the drill. Our next tool that we're sharing today is interruptions. I know that sounds like something really rude maybe, but this is a really effective tool. So, you know that adage, measure twice, cut once. It's that idea of not letting things get away from you. You don't want to be so committed to a route already that you're stuck. And it's the same thing here. Don't let the conversation get away from you. Don't let the project that they're describing spin out of what you can actually respond to. So let me give you, you know what, these interruptions are actually also on that cheat sheet, so I really would encourage you to download it. This is kind of a counterpoint to the questions because, a counterpoint to Googling, because with Googling, you can look things up, in a virtual meeting. Maybe when you're face-to-face, it's harder to Google. If there's a time when you can't Google, use interruptions. This is what's going to serve you better. So like I said, I know that this seems maybe rude. Let's talk about a few ways that you can do this that I don't think are rude, that have worked for me without damaging a relationship at all. So one that I like is just jump right in. Hang on, before we get too far along, help me understand, why this kiosk is better than our existing kiosks. Another interruption, and I'm serious about interrupting. Someone else is talking, you might just have to cut them off because you don't want to let this get away from you. Let me jump in here and ask, what's the final price point or whatever? I like this one. I'm going to cut you off because I'm still not seeing what the ultimate value is to my library or whatever. This one, you're really just saying, I'm interrupting you. I'm going to interrupt you because we need to talk about such and such thing. This is a priority for me. It helps express your priorities, and I think that's important to have the confidence to be able to do that in the middle of meetings. Okay, so that is interruptions. Our last tool here, oh good, we're at 15 minutes, okay. Our last tool here is the staple gun. And that's because it's a really great, easy tool. I know that the staple gun isn't the most permanent fastener. Other fasteners are definitely important. You wouldn't build a house with just the staple gun. But the staple gun is so easy and it can do so much. That is why we're looking today at the staple gun gratitude. This one tool is really, really easy, and it's really going to help hold together these conversations, hold together relationships. In the meantime, as you're building something up, it's going to keep you connected. It's going to keep you, building something together with this person you're talking with, or this, panel of intimidating people. It builds those relationships. So the big point here, oh, and I know gratitude sounds really corny, but stick with me. The big key here is do not apologize for not being an expert. You're not there because you're the expert on broadband. You're there because you're the librarian, because you're the expert on your community, or because you're the expert on your library services, or whatever it is. So don't apologize for not being the expert in something that's not your job to be the expert in. So we're going to take that sorry. You have the instinct to be like, I'm sorry I don't understand this. I'm sorry you have to slow down for me. No. We are changing that sorry into thank you. So let's look at what some of those can look like. Thank you for explaining this instead of, I'm sorry you had to explain this. Thank you for explaining this. Thank you for helping me learn instead of, I'm sorry that you had to slow down for me. I use this one all the time. Thank you for your patience as I get up to speed. This is for when I'm asking a question and I feel like the person I'm talking with doesn't understand what my question is, and maybe it's because they're giving me an answer that I don't understand, but something here is not working and we seem to be covering the same ground over and over again. I can pull out this magic little phrase, Thank you for your patience as I get up to speed with this. And they are so happy to work with you. Now, the trick here about gratitude is that when someone does something nice for you, they want to like you. They want to say, yeah, of course I'm being patient with this person. I like this person. And so by reminding them that they have done something for you to say thank you, you're reminding them you like me. And it really works. It really builds these positive relationships. The person says, yeah, of course I don't mind explaining this to you. It's nice to talk with you. It's nice to have this conversation. So use that tool, gratitude. Use it all the time. It's such a great one. Okay, so those are our 4 tools that we're covering in our little flash training today. I hope that they can be useful to you. Again, download that page, that resource that is on our website. The URL, once again, is libraries4de.org/resources. That's a numeric 4, libraries4de.org/resources. Download the cheat sheet. It's got some great stuff there. So we do have this whole toolbox available if this is something that you're interested in. Shoot us an email, contact@libraries4de.org, and someone will get in touch with you. We'd love to be able to, you know, have a real conversation, dig into this workshop, and make sure you've got all the tools you need. For today, I hope that you found some of those 4 tools helpful and that you will be able to use them in your own conversations, use them in your own libraries, and yeah, be that, critical anchor institution for your community. Thanks for watching today, and keep an eye out for our future trainings. You can subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date on articles, on new publications, things that come out, and you can always just keep an eye on our upcoming events page. Thanks again. Have a great one.